The story I'm going to tell you comes from a book called Flowers by Lenore Mullets. It was written in 1903. It is originally entitled The Christmas Rose, but we have the name of the Golden Rose for you today. Up on a mountain, there was a tall pine tree. This pine tree had lived on the mountain for many, many seasons. It cast a shadow down into the village. But on this cold winter day, the winds were swirling about it. I'm not afraid of the wind. I've lived on this mountain for so many years. But a gust of wind came and bent the tip of that tree all the way down to the ground. And it was there that the pine tree noticed a rose blossoming in the winter. And he heard some grumbling sound. Little Rose, why are you grumbling? Oh, look at me, it's winter and I'm blooming in winter. All the other roses, they bloom in the spring. I want to be like the red roses so people can stop and admire me. But it's winter and no one's going to see me. Ah, Little Rose, do not worry. You have a special purpose, and you must continue to push up through the snow and blossom, for someday you will find that purpose. And then a gust of wind snapped and sent that palm of the pine tree up to the sky. And the Little Rose thought and said, maybe the pine tree is right. Down in the village, in a hut, lived a family, a father who was a woodcutter, 2 children, and today a neighbor was visiting. It was not a happy day inside of the hut. The mother lay on her bed. She was pale and withdrawn. She could barely speak or move her body. The neighbor looked at the woodcutter and said, I do not believe your wife will live past sunset. At sunset, the woodcutter and the children and the neighbor gathered around the woman's bed. They caressed her hands and stroked her face. And the woodcutter said, it's okay, my dear. Please go. It's okay for you to go to your eternal rest. The woman took her last breath. And with that, the children knew their mother had died. They were all sobbing and hugging one another for comfort. A funeral was held 3 days later. The village people came to comfort them in their grief, but nothing could still their hearts. After the funeral, the father looked at his little children and took them by the hand and said, let's go for a walk in the forest. Your mother loved the forest. Maybe that'll bring comfort to our broken hearts. They walked into the forest right to the place where that tall pine tree was, standing tall. Papa, this is where we used to have picnics with Mama in a happier time. Yes, said Papa, this is the place, my little children. The little girl went walking about in the snow, and she saw something sparkling beneath the snow. Papa, brother, come look. There's a golden rose here. At that moment, the golden rose spoke to the family. Dear family, I see that you are filled with grief. Oh, dear family, I wish for you to cut my stems and blossoms, bring them home, put them in a vase, and when my petals fall, harvest my seeds and plant them in the spring, that you may always have my blossoms in the winter to comfort you in your grief. The children did just that. They cut the stems and brought them home. The little rose was in the vase and knew at that time that she had found her purpose. When the petals had fallen, the family harvested the seeds and saved them till the springtime, and they planted them. And at winter, around the anniversary of the mother's death, the golden rose blossomed again, year after year, bringing comfort and hope to this family in their grief.